Welcome to an incredible journey through the entire history of the United States, from the early days of colonization to the modern-day superpower. We will cover the key events that shaped America, its struggles, victories, and turning points that continue to influence the world today. So, let's begin with the Native American cultures that thrived here long before European settlers arrived. Before Columbus, millions of Native Americans lived across what is now the United States. From the vast plains to the forests of the East, their cultures and societies were diverse. Tribes like the Iroquois, Cherokee, and Apache had complex systems of government and trade. These civilizations were the first to call this land home. The story of European colonization begins with Christopher Columbus in 1492. Soon, the Spanish, French, and English established colonies throughout North America. By 1607, Jamestown, Virginia became the first permanent English settlement. Over time, 13 colonies developed along the eastern seaboard, each with its own economy and society. But the colonists faced many challenges: conflicts with Native Americans, diseases, and the harshness of new lands. Nevertheless, these colonies grew, setting the stage for a new nation. By the mid-1700s, tensions between the colonies and Great Britain reached a boiling point. The colonists were tired of taxation without representation and yearned for independence. In 1775, the American Revolutionary War broke out, led by figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. After years of struggle, the colonies emerged victorious. The Declaration of Independence, signed in 1776, proclaimed the birth of the United States of America. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris ended the war and solidified American independence. With independence secured, the next challenge was forming a government. The Articles of Confederation proved too weak, so in 1787, the Constitution was drafted, creating the framework for a stronger central government. By 1791, the Bill of Rights was added, protecting essential freedoms. Under the leadership of George Washington, the nation's first president, America began to grow, but tensions between different visions of government and society loomed on the horizon. As the 19th century progressed, the idea of manifest destiny, the belief that the U.S. was destined to expand across the continent, took hold. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803 nearly doubled the size of the country, and explorers like Lewis and Clark mapped the vast unknown. But this expansion came at a cost. Native American tribes were displaced during events like the Trail of Tears. The Mexican-American War added even more land, and by 1848, gold was discovered in California, igniting a westward rush of settlers. The growing divide between the North and South over slavery and states' rights culminated in the Civil War, a conflict that would define the future of the nation. From 1861 to 1865, the country was torn apart. Key battles, like Gettysburg and Antietam, were fought, while Abraham Lincoln led the Union to victory. In 1865, slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment, but the wounds of war would take time to heal. The Reconstruction era aimed to rebuild the South and extend rights to newly freed African Americans, though progress was uneven. After the Civil War, the United States underwent rapid industrialization. Railroads crisscrossed the nation, and industries like steel, oil, and manufacturing thrived. Business magnates like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller amassed vast wealth, while immigrants poured into cities seeking new opportunities. This era, known as the Gilded Age, was marked by economic growth, but also deep inequality, labor strikes, and political corruption. In the early 20th century, America became more involved in global affairs. World War I saw the U.S. join the fight, tipping the balance toward the Allies. After the war, the Roaring Twenties brought economic prosperity and social change. But it all came crashing down with the Great Depression in 1929. To combat the crisis, President Franklin D. Roosevelt introduced the New Deal, a series of programs aimed at economic recovery. Soon after, the U.S. was thrust into World War II, playing a key role in defeating the Axis powers after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. After World War II, the United States entered a period of tension with the Soviet Union, known as the Cold War. For decades, the two superpowers vied for global influence, from the Korean War and the Vietnam War to the Cuban Missile Crisis and the space race. At home, the 1960s saw massive social change, with the civil rights movement fighting to end segregation and secure equal rights for African Americans. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and others led this struggle, culminating in landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964. With the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, the United States emerged as the world's lone superpower. The 1990s saw economic growth and the rise of the internet age, but the 21st century brought new challenges, including the 9/11 attacks and the War on Terror. In recent years, the country has faced political polarization, the Great Recession, and movements for racial justice, LGBTQ+ rights, and climate action. Today, the U.S. continues to be a major player on the global stage, while grappling with its own internal challenges. From colonization to global leadership, the story of the United States is one of ambition, conflict, and progress. By understanding our history, we can better navigate our future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.